you don't fill this out, put your name on it, fill it out completely, you will not be counted as being here for attendance. Very important you have this. Anybody still need a blue sheet? Hold it up, hold your hand up. Hold your hand up if you do not have a blue sheet. Hold them up, keep them up. Don't put them down until you get a blue sheet. Anybody else? Hold your hands up. Hold your hands up if you don't have them yet. Okay, listen up. All electronic devices will be put away. No iPods, no phones. We see them, we'll take them.
Something about the Hunger Games. I don't know anything about the Hunger Games, but I understand that it's a bunch of teenagers who practice martial arts and then they compete against each other and one comes out alive. Well, I look at that as a metaphor for what we do here. We try to prepare you for life after school so that you can go out into the world and survive. So my question is, of the 200 people we send out every year from this high school, who's going to realize their dreams and who's going to stay hungry? I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
End Hunger Games. We're here tonight with some healthcare contestants that are looking to have an opportunity to care for this lovely lady over here in her home. So we have our Mrs. Smith, our elderly mother, and her daughter, Ms. Smith.
Contestant Red, why did you choose to become a nurse's assistant, and do you plan to pursue your education in healthcare?
I'm pursuing my dream in healthcare because I love helping people, and that's what I want to be able to do the rest of my life. I'm planning to graduate high school and graduate from my first 4 years of college with a major in bio, and then move on to medical school and actually start my career in healthcare.
Contestant Yellow, same question.
Wait, what? What does pursue mean? Does that mean if I make a but are those for soccer? Do you score goals in CNA?
Contestant Blue, same question.
I plan to become a post-anesthesia care unit in there for the head nurse because I love to care for people.
Ms. Smith, do you have any other questions?
Yes, I do. Second question. For Red, please. If you were in my mother's home and your phone was ringing, someone was at the front door, and my mother was yelling at you to come help her, what would you respond to first?
Well, I'm there to take care of your mother, so she would be my first and foremost priority, and I'd be checking on her first and making sure that she was okay with her environment and stable.
Contestant Yellow, same question.
Well, I would definitely check my phone first, because, like, it just makes sense. When the phone rings, you answer it, you know? Then I would check the door. If your mom is smart enough to remember my name, she should be able to remember how to help herself, shouldn't she?
Contestant Blue, same question.
I would first tend to your mother because she is my main responsibility, and then the door, and then my phone, because you could always call back.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions at this time?
No. not at
Okay,
this time.
thank you. Okay, so now we're going to take this to the audience vote. I want you to consider what you've seen on these three contestants to determine who would be the best caregiver for Mrs. Smith. So if you vote for, and now remember, we're voting off someone. Sorry. We'll vote off the worst caregiver. Who do you think should not be a candidate on our in a very professional manner. So, Veronica is now our healthcare provider for Miss Smith.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Good morning. This commercial break is brought to you by MCHS. Ask yourself these questions. Are you fun-loving? Are you safety conscious? Are you easygoing? Are you energetic? Do you like to be creative? Can you see a situation and figure out what needs to be done? Are you a person who likes to work with others? Are you motivated to get things done? Are you a team player? And the most important thing, do you want to make a difference in a child's life? If you can say yes to these questions, then perhaps you would enjoy a career in the child care field. Let's hear some up-close and personal reasons as to why these seniors have chosen the child care field.
Okay, I chose the child care field because I like working with children and I want to make an impact on like the world, and I feel, well, it's never too late for the next generation. I chose the profession because like you make a really big impact on people's lives. You're the big sister or the big brother. They look up to you. You do something, they have you right ahead. And you really do, like, get really personal with them. They tell you they love you. They tell you how pretty you are, how good you look. And it's just something really good to see a smile on a child's face and know that what you did. This program was so I could become a preschool teacher because I love kids. And I love to be involved with kids at a younger age because they're so fun-loving. And they know how they have such a big open mind on learning new things.
I'm in there because a lot of the kids in there don't have older siblings too. And they just see you there and like
Thank you very much. And that's the conclusion to commercial. Have a good day.
All right, welcome to our second round of In the Hunger Games. In this scenario, you have a customer here, just like your parents. Vehicle breaks down, they need to pick an automotive facility to go to. So we have Bourbon Automotive, Andre Automotive, and Williott Automotive. You're red, yellow, and blue. So our candidate, or our customer over here, Mr. Olson, has a round of questions for them, and you will be voting off the least likely place that your parents would choose as an automotive facility.
All right, this is a phone call. I was driving my car, this is question number Red, or Mr. Red. I was driving my car the other day, had to make a panic stop. Ever since I did this, I noticed my brake pedal goes to the floor. About 30 seconds of continuous pressure. What do you think this is, and how much is it going to cost?
To me, it sounds like you have a small pin leak somewhere in your brake line caliper master cylinder. I gotta verify it, so if you have a time that you can bring it in, I can tow it, or you can bring it in yourself. What would be better for you?
All right, thank you. Blue, same question.
Candidate Red had a question for you. He was wondering when would be the best time for you to bring it in.
I'll look at my schedule.
Candidate blue or yellow?
Blue.
Blue.
Same question. Okay.
sounds like a busted brake line. Bring it in and we'll take a look.
No questions there. Yellow, wrap it up.
I'm not too sure, but I don't know, man. Whenever I have some free time, I guess I can call you and bring it in.
Thank you very much. All right, I have another question.
Question 2.
All right, here's a scenario for you. I just had my car to your shop last week, check engine light was on. You diagnosed it as a bad O2 sensor. Charged me $250. Now a week later, light's back on. What are you going to do about it? Blue.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. If you bring it back, I'll try to find the problem.
Yellow.
I don't remember your car, so if I don't remember it, it must have never happened, so you're on your own.
And red.
Well, I apologize for the inconvenience. If there's a time that's open and free for you, you can bring it in and I'll stand behind my commitment and fix your car for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, audience, who is going to be the least likely mechanic that your parents are willing to take to the shop? Boy, I'm going to need some help judging here. I'm going to need some help. All right. Our official tally results are candidate blue, you're going home. Okay, this last question, this is a face-to-face interview. Your parents drive in, they meet the mechanic for the first time. This is a first impression.
All right, my name is Mr. Shermer for this scenario. Nice to meet you. All right. Yeah. Just so you know, I'm kind of a big deal. I have a meeting in about 20 minutes. I have an appointment with you guys about 45. What I'd rather do is I want you guys to change my oil, do the tire rotation now, so that way I can get to my other meeting, which is more important than you guys fixing that car, and then we'll go from there. What can you do for me?
Right now we're all full and I have a mechanic out on lunch. I did just finish up one of the custom cars early, but we got to get the other ones done as soon as possible because they came in first. I'll see what I can do and get you in as soon as possible, but I can't guarantee anything. If you want to just have a seat, I'll try my hardest.
I don't really care if you're important or not. I'm going on lunch and you can wait until I get back. I'm sorry.
Okay, based on their response, I know what you would vote for, but that's maybe not the right thing. However, I know what your parents would choose, and I know what I would choose, and I know what Mr. Olson would choose, and we certainly would be going with the red candidate. You're out of here. All right, that concludes the second round.
Hey guys, I'm Trevor Rogers. I'm a senior. I plan on going to... I'm sorry you can't see me with me. Alright, I'm a senior here at Marengo High School. I've been doing drafting classes since freshman year. It's pretty fun. I plan on being a mechanical engineer out of high school, just because, I don't know, I like designing all that. This is a medal. I got second in state for architectural drafting. It's pretty decent now. Alright, here's Jesse Henning.
Hey guys, I'm Jesse Henning. Been drafting for 4 years now. It's pretty awesome. I have a medal also. Went downstate with Trevor and got gold. It's alright though. We dominated. Freshman year I went downstate as well and won 4 drawings for drafting. It's an awesome field to get into because you get to make changes. After high school I plan on going to college for mechanical engineering because you get to design things and see how things perform. So that's all I gotta say.
like me and boys, I'm a junior, and I've been in drafting this freshman year. I don't have a medal with me, but I did go. And I got my ribbon for second place. Skills USA is a little different than what they have, but it's about the same, so different program, really. And then we also have these two things, which is, you get into it.
We cut these out on plasma canvases out of 1/8" steel. You pick a picture off the internet. I used a box sign, everybody knows that. And then I just kind of traced it, and then I put it into another program. It's the plasma cutter. And then you just pretty much go to the shop and just cut it out. And this is our first project. It's like a dirt bike, and then I just kind of made my name on the underneath side of it because we had to use a house sign. Just, Jesse did the crazy Heisman thing, but we were able to bring that because he forgot. All right, well, yeah, it's a pretty interesting field. There's so many different kinds. I don't think anyone really knows how many different kinds of engineering there are. It's not a train engineer. No, we're not driving trains. We're designing bridges, civil engineering, architectural houses, mechanical is anything that moves, cars and all that. Well, you can design stuff for trains if you want, but that's a different thing. You're not driving. Anything else you have to say? Oh, any questions, I guess? I can't really see your hands, but... Oh, yesterday Shermer came up to me with a little thing he needed me to redo. It was for a 1920s tractor, and it was, what was it? Oh, it was only 23 made ever, total, just 1920. So that's pretty cool, just designing that part. Did it fit? Did it work? Oh, and it worked, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty easy.
Set up just a little bit differently. It's based on an agricultural business. And we would like you to think of your family as the owner of this business. Eventually, you will be taking over as the CEO. So which employee are you going to hire? Currently, one of your employees is Mr. Pettit. He is a district sales manager, looking for an entry-level salesperson. He's going to be conducting these interviews to determine which salesperson would be best for your company.
Good morning, ladies.
Hi, good morning.
First question, where do you see yourself in 1 year with this company, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? Red candidate, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, in 1 year, I want to make some money, but in 5 years, I want to make a lot more money so I can be really rich and buy a lot of things.
Yellow candidate, how would you answer that?
One promotion throughout the year and being rewarded for my efforts to increase sales by receiving at least one pay raise in a year. In 5 years, I see myself moving up the corporate ladder and being compensated appropriately. I would expect to take on more responsibility and decision-making along the way.
And finally, blue candidate?
Let's be real here. In a year, I see myself as a janitor, and in 5 years, either unemployed or in jail with my husband, Josh.
Question number 2. A customer of yours contacts you and is upset about a field treatment. What would you do? Red candidate?
I'm not sure, but I think I would just call my manager and ask him.
Yellow candidate?
I would assess the problem and proceed as I feel necessary. I would ask my manager if we as a company do refunds and then possibly refund the product or find a way to fix the problem.
Blue candidate.
I tell them to suck it up. They bought the product, it's their own problem.
Okay. Question number 3. If you had a coworker that was not pulling his weight, how would you handle this issue? Red candidate?
I would work for them to make up what they did not accomplish.
Yellow candidate.
I would have a private conference with this coworker and discuss their lack of effort towards the job. I would positively remind them of the company goals we are all working to achieve.
Blue candidate.
I tied dumbbells to his ankles and tell him to pull his own weight.
Okay. Next question. If 1 gallon of product A will produce 60 bushels of corn at a cost of $200, and a half a gallon of product B will produce 100 bushels of corn at a cost of $500, which product is more profitable and why? Red candidate?
All right, I got a 50-50 chance here. Eeny, meeny, miny, product A.
Yellow candidate?
Product A is more profitable as only a gallon costs $200 and produces 3/4 of what half a gallon of product B costs. That costs $5.
And finally, blue candidate.
I don't know. Can someone give me a calculator?
Next question. Why do you want to work for Marengo Seed Company? Red candidate?
I just want to make some money to support myself.
Yellow candidate?
I've heard many positive attributes about the Marengo Seed Company. I believe my characteristics are a good fit for this job, and I can see myself contributing to the company's success for many years to come.
Blue candidate?
To make money so I can buy a new horsey and lots of candy.
Okay. Last question. It's Friday at 10 a.m. and you have already met your sales goals for the week. What is your agenda for the rest of Friday? Red candidate?
I would work half a day and then use that money I made to go spend it at the mall and shopping and some new clothes.
Okay. Yellow candidate?
I would get ahead of my work so I can pass my sales goals. I'd go to McDonald's and play in the tunnels. You know, a funny story, last week I went to McDonald's and I dropped my gum on the ground and some kid stepped on it and I picked it up and ate it. It was definitely the best gum I ever chewed.
All right, those are your 3 candidates. Remember, your family's company is the Marengo Seed Company. Who would you want your employee, Mr. Pettit, to hire? Okay. Clearly, for entertainment reasons, we know you picked blue. In reality, is she ever going to get a job? If you're looking for somebody to portray your family and your company the best, you would probably go with the yellow candidate you have.
All right, let's have a round of applause for all of our contestants today. In reality, you know who the right choice is. Emotion today, obviously, is making your choice for you. It's fun. We had good times, good to laugh about that. But what we teach in Career and Tech Ed, we teach very valuable content. Well, what we're here to talk to you about today is the workplace skills and how important that is. Last Friday, we took 130-ish, roughly, students down to the International Machine Tool Show. And every booth that we stopped at, when I talked with the people there and told them, who we brought, and they were really excited. They're like, wow, we wish every high school would do that. And, as we talk, I would ask them, I would say, what is it you need? Do you need highly skilled people that you want to hire? Or what is it? And if every one of them told me, what we need is someone with basic skills. And they read a tape measure, and they convert to decimals. And I'm like, that's it? They're like, honestly, it's not much more than that. But more important than that was, what kind of workplace skills are they coming out of school with? Do they understand the importance of being able to communicate? Do they have the drive? Do they have the initiative to show up every day? And that's really what's plaguing this country, is your desire to want to show up every day to work and have good workplace skills. Now, we're going to come out as a group here and go through our 8 workplace skills, and each one of us will probably highlight a few things, refresh a little bit from each skit, and then hopefully leave a good impression with you. And that really is the goal of today, is to reinforce those skills and hope that you leave here with an understanding that content is one thing, but those workplace skills make it everything. Okay, first up is oral communication. I'm going to let Mrs. Shanks or whoever want to start here with that. Just
those are words going into his ear, really. Okay, so from what you guys saw today, what do you think was, what are some examples of good oral communication that you saw from our candidates, and what were some of the bad things that you saw? Do you think that made a difference on whether the person landed the job or not, whether they had good oral communication skills or not?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only getting the job, but then keeping the job, right? To continue to be successful at your job and to be a valuable employee, you have to have really good oral communication skills.
And you'll hear us say it all the time, especially if you ever had a class with me or anything like that. You hear us talk about being able to communicate to one another. All of you do it every day with each other in one form or another. But when you start working, no matter if you think you're going to be the CEO or if you're putting tires on a car, you're going to have to communicate to somebody at one time. A task, a step-by-step process, whatever it might be. And in order for that to happen, you need to be able to communicate that so you are confident the person heard that. Communication is not also just mean talking. Listening is a strong communication skill which we all need to develop.
And I can tell you from years past when I had a business before teaching that, that communication was everything. When those customers called, they could sense the mood that I was in. I could sense the mood that they were in. Who is happy when your car breaks down? Nobody. We already had a strike against us, so we had to be at the top of our game in order to win them over and keep them as a customer forever.
In the kitchen, you have people working together, all for one purpose. If it's catering, we have a party. And everyone needs to communicate to each other. If there's not good communication, the party won't happen smoothly. So working together, being able to communicate to each other effectively will help the process.
In communication in the agriculture sales scenario, the goal was not to sell a product or make money. Your actual goal is to problem solve for your client and to figure out what product would be best for them. So the communication aspect of listening and problem solving and a lot of the other ones that were up there earlier kind of all comes together in an ag sales. So there's lots of careers out there in all of those areas, and you'll have to use multiple skills to be successful in them.
I used to have to communicate with subcontractors in different parts of the country. And they would tell me what was going on with the field site and what their observation was. And I would have to tell them, I would have to interpret their words and tell them what to do. So we had to choose our words very carefully to get the picture from our mind to be the same picture that was in the other person's mind. So you have to be able to express yourself clearly, and you have to be able to express yourself accurately.
For written communication, especially in the healthcare setting, the patient's chart is where we're documenting everything that we do for the patient, how they responded to it, and their status. If we don't chart something in the healthcare, in the patient's chart, it didn't happen. Even if I did it, I didn't chart it, I didn't clearly communicate it in writing. As far as the courts are concerned, if they're going to sue me and take it, the jury's going to say, it never happened. You never gave that medication. You never changed that dressing. You never did those things because you didn't write it down. So the written communication is really, really important in the healthcare setting, to be clear and concise and accurate and objective.
In the auto industry, the service writer at a dealership has to communicate with the customer in a written format, and it's very important that they write clear and legible. That's right, and clear and legible, because what that customer is going to be reading about what they're doing to their vehicle, not only are they being told what they're doing it, but they can look back and look at that service order and go, okay, I see it right here, long description of what they've written down.
Written communication may be like the first thing that an employer will see. You'll go in, you'll fill out an application. be honest with you, if you don't spell properly, use proper grammar, you probably won't get to the next step, which will be sitting down for an interview to try to sell yourself. Because that's basically what it comes down to, is selling yourself, whether it's, being an auto repair, or, trying to sell seed. Bottom line, sell yourself.
So let's say you got the interview. After the interview, you would want to write a thank you for your time letter. And in that follow-up letter, if you do not capitalize the first word of every sentence, I'm probably not going to hire you.
Written communication in my area, I've worked with in a daycare center with babies all the way up to children or young adults of age 18. And each time, no matter what it is, you're observing and you need to keep track of things. And especially with the younger kids, you have to write things down in order for the parents to know what happened. And it's very, very important that you legibly write and clearly express your feelings.
And an example of written communication in agriculture would definitely be, and I'll kind of go into this one with math skills, but if you're going to bid, say, a landscaping, if you have a landscaping business and you want to send out a bid to a client, you better be able to put your ideas in a concise, clear way so that that client can decide if you truly are the best company they want to go with. Included in that definitely would be using math skills. How much are you going to charge per item that you're going to put in for their landscape? Or are you going to charge for the time? How many man hours do you need? How many employees do you need? So being able to figure out those items and then communicate them with your potential employee or employer would be something that you definitely need to do.
Don't be intimidated by math. Most jobs that require math require you to know how to do a certain kind of math. You do that over and over and over again, and you get good at it, even if you're not very good at math.
In healthcare, with math skills, you're looking at, it could be a matter of life and death if you miscalculate, give a medication to a patient that's higher, you put the decimal place in the wrong, the decimal point in the wrong place, end up giving 10 times what the patient needs for their body weight. So being able to do it accurately is really important. And second, to what Mr. Taylor said, math is not a strong suit for me, but because I've done that particular conversion and that particular skill set over and over, it's easy. That part's easy for me.
In cooking, if you have a recipe for 10, but you're having a party for 200, you're going to have to know how to convert a recipe from 10 to 100, or 150, or 200. So math is very important in culinary arts as well. Problem solving. Let's say you have dinner for 100 people, and you find that there is a problem with half of the chicken in the refrigerator. It's been contaminated, it's not right. So now what do you do?
This was another huge area when I talked last Friday with those business owners. They said one of the things that we notice is in today's generation, it's like they're not able to think without going and Googling it. What's the answer to this? Well, I don't know, let me find out. I notice with my students that they just want me to tell them what's wrong with the car. And we don't do that anymore. We don't pump you full of content. We make you try to figure it out. What are you going to do? What are, you got to kind of look for clues and try to solve the problem. Very important. Okay, each year the school asks us to set 2 goals as teachers. The reason for goal setting is to keep us focused on improving so we don't become complacent. One of the worst things that you can do to yourself is become complacent and go, you know what, all right, I've got this job and I'm good at it, but I don't ever want to get better. I'm stuck in a rut. Set yourself some goals is the best way to resist complacency.
One other thing with goal setting that affects you right now is school, those of you who want to go to college, ACT prep, and things like that. We spend a lot of time here at MCHS making sure you have all the opportunities and skills built so that way you can have those opportunities you want to have in the future. When you have those sessions where you're doing ACT prep, when you're having practice tests, those should be one of your goals that you want to improve on every time you take that test. Those are things that you can impact your future greatly, and it starts now.
And I think I just want to add one more thing. In our department, all of us have hands-on learning. And I think that will go along with your goal setting and trying to understand where do I fit in.
Self-management is a workplace skill that we all need to work on because we all feel like this sometimes. We feel like doing this. Everybody does. That's a normal human emotion, to be frustrated and to be stressed out. You just want to throw a temper tantrum. But unfortunately, we get to the point where we have to have some self-management and be able to put up presenting our emotions in a more controlled way.
And employers are going to look for somebody who is self-driven. They want somebody who has that motivation, that initiative to go and start something on their own, or who has the self-management to come in and get the job done how they want it. We also look at all of your teachers are going to place you into a group. Can you work with different individuals who aren't just like you? Your ability to be people-oriented and work with each other is something that we try to get you to practice here. Hopefully every day. We all get along fabulously. So hopefully, you find people that you can work with, but there will be people out there who maybe you don't necessarily agree with. You still need to be able to communicate and work with them successfully.
Teamwork is huge, very huge. One of the things that we practice within my classroom is changing the seating arrangement and having to work with students that you're not comfortable with, somebody you may not know. It always comes down to that. You don't know them. That's why you're uncomfortable. I force you to introduce yourself, and that's part of teamwork, working together. Changing up the groups, very important. Sooner or later, you're going to have to work with someone you don't like. So the quicker you get used to it, the better off you are.
We have a light, please.
Being able to think critically, obviously, is huge. It goes hand in hand with problem solving. But critical thinking, knowing your resources, where to go, what to use. Anything to add to that? Okay, wrapping up here. Your blue sheet needs to be filled out completely. And on your way out, there is a container at the door. You need to drop it in that container. That concludes our presentation. Thank you. It's been a good crowd.
Stay seated. Stay seated. You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere.